view here?
We played very well. I mean, I think that's obvious, and it always starts on the mound. And I thought Dylan was terrific as he's been, not just down the stretch, but probably since we've injected him into the rotation. He was terrific, and I thought tonight against what we consider a really good Auburn offense, I thought he mixed his pitches so well, fastballs in and out, a ton of sliders for strikes, and then able to move the slider to get some punch outs. He was able to elevate his fastball. He's able to do just about anything tonight, and you could tell they had a tough time figuring them out, but a lot of people do. And on this field with the wind gushing in, it's runs are a premium. It's tough to score, and we didn't face Gonzalez in the regular season, but watched from afar how good he is, and knew that we were going to have to be very opportunistic and get the big hits, and we got several of them. Of course, Kevin had a terrific night, big hit with 2 outs by Kemp, and then later in the game we had some balls fall for us. We had some good fortune, which you need, but just proud of the way we played.
Okay, I'll open up for questions for the student athletes. Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, and we'll start right there.
Hey Dylan, Jared Redding, Inside the Rebels on 24/7 Sports. When you go through a groove like you did today, retiring your first 14 straight, how much of your mind is thinking about what you've done up until that point, or is it just kind of a short memory?
Just moving on to the next pitch, really. Just forgetting the last pitch and just attacking the zone again.
Okay, right here.
This is for Kevin and Dylan, but
name and affiliation.
Sorry, John Sokoloff with WCBI TV in Columbus, Mississippi. What was that locker room like? What was the energy like after y'all pulled this one out?
Great. So it has been the last few weeks. We're just ready to keep playing some more baseball.
Dylan. and for you, I know obviously everything's been working, but just to see your team play 2 runs early in the top of the first, how easy is it for you to exhale at that point and pitch more comfortably, I guess?
Yeah, it helped a lot, really. It just calmed me down and just allowed me to pitch again.
Okay, go ahead right here.
Michael Katz with the Daily Journal. Kevin and Kemp, 4 with 5 runs with 2 outs today. It's been kind of a big thing for you guys in these last few weeks over this kind of surge you've had. What's kind of been the biggest difference in that department with those timely hits?
I think it's just sticking to your approach, but that's something we've emphasized since I've gotten here, is getting that big 2-out hit, and with 2 outs, even 2 outs, somebody on, there's a lot of inning left, and just keep grinding out at bats, winning pitches, and those 2-out runs they're huge. Those can be backbreakers.
Do we have in the back here?
Riley McCall with MavRadio.fm. A great win tonight. How will you guys keep up the momentum against Arkansas on Monday night?
Well, I think just keep playing baseball like we have been. Just keep winning pitches and keep competing.
Kemp, why don't you answer that too?
It's just another game. We'll go out there, make pitches, have tough at-bats, make good plays, and just play like we've been playing for the last month.
Okay, who you got here? Okay.
Nick Suss with the Clarion Ledger for Dylan. We've talked about your command all year, but I think in the postseason, 31-3 strikeout to walk or something like that. Just what is working for you when it comes to commanding and controlling so well right now, and how have you kind of developed that?
I would say mostly I just want to keep my pitch count low. So I'm just throwing it in the zone. That's literally was my game plan today. Throw it in the zone, let them hit it. If they don't hit it, good for me, but just let them put the ball in play and have my defense work for me.
Aaron?
Aaron Fitt, D1 Baseball. Kemp, thinking back to, some inner squads maybe against Dylan. As a right-handed hitter, and you're facing a guy, with that kind of slider, how hard is it to hit that pitch? It looked like that was giving those Auburn hitters a lot of trouble today.
I think I faced Dylan 8 times in the fall, and I think he got me out all 8 times. But the thing about Dylan is, he's got a wipeout slider, but if you're a left-handed hitter, he also has a changeup that he can throw. He can throw his slider to the lefty's back foot. But the most effective thing for Dylan is he can throw his fastball in and out on the plate. And as a right-handed hitter for me, he can start it off the plate and run it on the black edge of the plate.
Okay.
Hey, Dylan. Alec Lewis, The Athletic. What's the backstory behind the development of that slider?
Beginning of the year, just my thumb was just misplaced on it, and then we just kind of slid it up a little on it to put it just instead of being on a seam, now it's on leather. So it caused me, instead of it just like tucking it, just caused it just to go out of my hand the right way. So that's really been the key to it.
Okay, we have a question from the Zoom universe. Please give us your name and affiliation and ask your question.
Hey, Dylan. Austin Eldridge with the Rebel Walk. In that seventh inning, when Mike came out there to visit with you after those 3 straight hits from Auburn and they got on the board with that run, were you campaigning for yourself at all to stay in the game there, or was that all coach?
No, I wanted to stay in the game but I mean, he had complete confidence in me. He just said, listen, just throw strikes and get out of this without giving a run. So that was the point.
Okay, right here again, Nick.
Nick Suss, Clarion Ledger. Kevin, we've kind of talked about the end of that Arkansas series as the start of the turnaround so much, getting to face them again now in the College World Series. How does the team kind of feel about getting to play them again?
Good. I mean, at this point in the year, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Everybody's good. Everybody can beat everybody. We're just ready to go compete again. I mean, it's a fun group of guys to go play with every day.
Okay, any more questions for the student athletes? If not, reminder that the locker room's closed, and Mitch will help you with any other requests you might have. But guys, y'all can go. Okay. Thanks. We always have fun. Okay, questions for Coach Bianco. We'll start over here.
Noah Darling, CWS 247. You talked about some of your family being around Omaha tonight. Who was all here, and can you talk about how special it was to win in front of them?
My personal family? I think we got them all here except for one. My oldest, Michael's coaching in Atlanta. Do you guys ask all the coaches about their families, or is it just because the Biancos are crazy and have 5 kids? So they're all here. The last one, Drew, flew in this afternoon, and so we got everybody here. My father's here. My brother, who missed the opportunity in 2014, has never been to Omaha and played college baseball, so he's loving it. So him and his wife are here. Just about all the Biancos. We're about 92%.
Okay, Michael.
Michael Katz, Daily Journal. I think that's 12 runs surrendered now over the 6 postseason games from the pitching staff. Just what's kind of been the biggest factor for the pitching this postseason?
I don't know what the biggest factor. If you watch Dylan and you watch, I would probably have to say just being ahead in the count. The guys are pitching with tremendous confidence, and I thought that was, Dylan today, and Kemp, I think, said it the best, on Aaron's question is, you can look at that slider, and the slider can be really nasty. He can throw a really good changeup. Not as many left-handers in the lineup, so I think we threw maybe 1 or 2 changeups today. But the fastball can be so dominant. You look at the board, it's 90 to 93. He'll bump a 94, 95, but there's a lot of low 90s, which is good, but it's not, I think impressive when you look at the scoreboard, like you see some other guys that are throwing the ball mid to upper 90s, but he commands it. It's got good run on it, and it makes them very uncomfortable, and he can throw it on both sides of the plate. And when he's ahead in the count like that, you can see that, they're not able to barrel up the fastball. And when you don't do that, then it's tough to get to the breaking ball. And Mallett's, of course, at the end has, been as good as anybody, that we run out there. And it's a shame we've had a couple where we haven't, because of the spread, we haven't run Johnson out there at the end. And part of that's because, the lead. And, I get uncomfortable bringing your closer in with a 5-run lead or 4-run lead. But they've been good, and I guess the answer is a lot of strikes.
Okay, John.
John Sokoloff with the WCBI TV in Columbus. I guess it's pretty good if you don't have to use your closer that often.
Yeah.
Huh? But, at the plate, you guys are hitting 300 this postseason. I'm sure the plate approach hasn't changed that much from the postseason compared to the regular, but what's impressed you about y'all's approach at the plate?
the most important factor in winning a baseball game is dominant pitching, and we've just talked about that, and we've pitched it really well. The second most important factor is the timely hit, and not just the batting average, but being able to hit with runners in scoring position. And Mike Clement, has a knack for getting the kids to believe. As Kevin, I think, and Kemp said, with 2 outs, there's 33% of the inning left. There's when you start looking at that, there's a lot of inning left. And through the last 3 weeks or so, we've had some really big 2-out hits.
And I mean, it seems like you would obviously know this better than we would, but I mean, you guys are the only undefeated team in the postseason, playing really well, as you said the other day. And,
I didn't know that.
Oh,
okay.
Only
thank
undefeated
you.
one. There you go.
There you go.
And they just walked up there and they just won a game at the College World Series, and it seems like to me that they have a very just handle your business kind of approach and not getting too high. As a coach, how crucial is that for players to have that approach, especially with you considering you've been around for a while?
Well, I think part of it is where they've come from, and we've talked about that story, and the 7-14 and being able to handle it, and it didn't look good, and there's so much pressure. Just I think. Their own demands, right? That they want to succeed, and then the fans, and it's tough, and we were in a tough spot. Once we got in, I think the slate's clean, and what I mean by that is they were fighting uphill and trying to stay alive in the deep end for such a long time that once they got in, now everybody's even, and everybody's 0-0. And they got another opportunity. Not a lot of times you get another opportunity, and so and it's a team that played well. It's not super surprising because we played so well at the beginning of the year. This wasn't a team that came out of nowhere. This was a team that was ranked number 1 at some point, for a couple weeks in mid-March, not the beginning of the season, but a month into the season, and a team that kind of lost itself, and we're able to come back. And I think once they've got that new life in them, that you can see the confidence in the way they've played.
Okay, Rick.
Rick Cleveland, Mississippi Today. Mike, what were you thinking on the way to the mound in the 7th when they got the 3 straight hits and still nobody out? And then can you talk about the conversation you had with Dylan? Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 3 hits in a row. I think it was a double, single, and a guy that I just wanted to make sure to check him emotionally. He's tough as heck, but man, he can be emotional, and I just want to make sure that we kind of calmed him down a little bit and just got him back into the strikes, and that was it. I knew the stuff was good, and I knew at that point, I think if I remember right, he was like in the 80s pitch wise, and so I didn't see a reason for him to come out with that lead. And so I just want to make sure to get his emotions under control, and so we could make some pitches, and that's why you see that's why he's good. The good ones make pitches and get off the field. They don't just let it blow up on them, and he did that today.
This will be our last question here.
ChaseBarnRivals.com. Mike, what was kind of the approach to Gonzalez a little bit? 2 weeks in a row, he and Hall kind of stayed on that sinker and were pretty aggressive in need be, but didn't chase it too much.
Yeah, and just to try to get it up. We liked what we thought the left-handers could do. And so when that happens, usually it's a good thing. We got some good left-handers in our lineup. The right-handers, needed to see that ball up. You could see they made an adjustment, after the first inning or 2, which allowed him to kind of roll there for about 3 or 4 innings, where he started running that sinker inside, and we started getting fisted. And I think he probably went a little more off speed and a little more away early on, and it gave us some opportunities to get some balls up and get some good swings on them. But you could see that Tim Hudson calling the pitches, and of course Gonzalez delivering the pitches. They made an adjustment, and it enabled him to kind of roll through some innings there in the middle.
Mike, thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you Monday night. Jen, I forgot. Are they the home team? They are not. Arkansas will be the home team.